Why aren't house prices dropping? This is the housing market news of 2022 that could be making you crazy and happy at the same time. It's shocking to see the current state of the housing market. Mortgage rates increasing, rent increasing, house prices increasing, and the lack of homes that are actually available for sale. Have you seen any of this stuff? The biggest issue is the elephant in the room. We're seeing huge changes within the number of homes that are available and the affordability. Now, Fannie May is saying that this type of housing in this market is the new normal. Is the American dream vanishing? So if you're in the market for a new house, I have a solution for you that may help you. I'm going to dive into that in just a bit, but first I have to tell you about why this keeps on happening. Supply and demand. The number of homes for sale is down, way down. Do you remember this? Supply and demand. Do you remember how that felt, right? Here's the question for you. When the store restocked that toilet paper, was there a wave of price drops? Was there a 50% off sale? Or even a 5% off sale? I mean, think about this. Do you remember way back to last year's housing market? Do you remember when inventory of homes had dropped 53% between April 2020 and April 2021? Do you remember that? Now, this is according to actual sales data that was collected. And that was then, and this is now. Why are house prices not dropping in 2022? You know, new listings for homes were down 3%, and overall number of active listings were down 26%, for the week compared to the same period last year. Yet, as another record low, America has fewer and fewer homes for sale. It's easy to get caught up in the spooky headlines, but it's more important to look at the actual data and facts rather than how you feel. Okay, because feelings can take you one way. Yes, interest rates are going to rise this year, and they should, because the current rates, even though they're rising, are still half of the historical average of nearly 8%. Now, is owning a home really worth it? Hell yes! But I have to warn you about something. Owning real estate is going to make some people really jealous and mad that your home value has increased, okay? But in 2022, buyers still want to buy, and the desire to buy a home still outpaces homeowners that are willing to sell. Okay, and what we're seeing is this trend is going to continue. The new listings have trended far below historical levels for the last 9 of 10 weeks. Yet housing supply has fallen dramatically since the pandemic. And interesting that second homes, retirement homes, and income-producing properties and step-up properties are all in super high demand. Actual inventory for sale was cut in half from 1 million active listings in January 2020 to a little over 400,000 listings in January 2022. And this is according to data from the Federal Reserve. So when are home prices going to drop? When is this going to end? You know, I've got good news for the buyers. Okay, rising interest rates, we got new home permits, we've got new construction homes that are finally making their way to the market. This is projected to grow the inventory by 0.3% on an average of 2022. And that's rebounding from levels in 2021 lows. But also historically, sellers are generally entering the market in the spring, which could boost more inventory. But bad news is that the trends also, it's more competitive to buy a house in the spring of the year. These supply and demand dynamics are creating what I call a chicken and egg type of dilemma. You know, which one comes first? Is there more sellers selling? So this is going to be very important to watch heading into the spring, because at this time, the competition usually picks up. So what does this mean for the housing market? Okay, so the drop of 3% of new listings last week may be good news for home seekers, because it decreased lower than the 7% decline from the week before. But higher mortgage rates in the future may be pushing the number of interested buyers to buy right now. Why? Because they're trying to time getting into their new home, confirming these new low mortgage rates while they're still at historic levels. So I got a question for you. If lumber prices drop, is that going to make homes more affordable? You know, one big issue for house construction has been the supply and demand, or the supply chain crunch. You know, lack of windows, doors, trusses, siding, roofing, flooring, cabinets, countertop, and how about skilled labor, plumbers, electricians, framers? there's a lot of moving parts that have to come together to actually build a home. So with all the starts and stops along the way, waiting for parts to come in, it's taken even longer for a deal to start at a permit and even have the possibility of becoming a completed project. And this isn't making anything any easier for home buyers. It's making the process of building new homes nearly impossible. So the lack of construction in the materials has created a new home construction supply gap of 5.2 million houses as of this month. And the scarcity of new homes is making potential sellers rethink putting their houses on the market. Now, this is important to remember because inventory challenges faced by buyers can also impact seller participation, as a majority of the home sellers will buy another home. So they're not going to put their house on the market if they can't have a place to go. So if you want to buy a house in 2022, you may see some reprieve in the following months. Okay, why do I say that? Because even with the recent increase in construction over this past year, markets still all across America still are way undersupplied. Now, of the 338 metro areas analyzed by Dow Jones, only 2.6%, showed construction permits, outpacing sales, and that's Austin and Provo, Utah. Now, just understand, all new homes are just a small but really important segment of the housing market, and especially now with new construction lagging behind household formation for so many years. That's 5.2 million home deficit, where household formation has outpaced single-family home building. That is a really big gap and a big hole for us to dig out of. But a good place to start is looking back to the future. Now, I know many of you are homeowners already, but do you feel like when you bought, you were buying at the very peak, okay? But you bought anyway, and you even thought everyone in the market was saying, oh, it's going to crash, you're going to have this, blah, blah, blah. You knew it was better than paying somebody else rent. You knew you needed a bigger house, or you were retiring and it's your time, or you wanted the additional rental income property, or whatever your reason really was. But look at what has actually happened. You love the fact that you bought when you did. Okay, it's always a scary time. Can you imagine backing out on the deal back then? What would happen? But looking back, the question I have for you is this. Are you happy that you bought when you bought? The reality, okay? Unfortunately, most people have no idea what is really coming because the elephant in the room is inflation. Now, raging inflation. You think we got problems now? The experts predict that we're going to see years of price increases on everything. And that means all products, all services, regardless of higher interest rates, are going to cost us all more money every single day. If you look back to the 1970s, interest rates increased, and so did the prices of real estate. In the early 1980s, inflation provided high interest rate mortgages, yet the price of real estate still went even higher. Nothing dropped. Everyone was complaining that homes were not affordable. They said at that time, real estate prices were unsustainable and many blue-collar workers can't even pay these prices. Yeah, I get it. But apparently, back then, as in now, the housing market didn't hear all the shouting. Why? Even back then, prices just kept going higher. So fast forward to today. Does this sound familiar at all? The truth is, the Federal Reserve actually owns about half of the mortgage market. Do you think that house prices are going up? Some people are nervous about the future, and I understand that the future is totally unknown. But one solution is to hold off and do nothing. Take a deep breath and hold it. Many people go throughout life and they've missed opportunities and they carry that regret. And we're all here on this planet for a limited time. So every single day, our real estate office gets these calls, people crying about, I could have kicked myself for not buying when I thought prices were going to go down. Yeah, but I wish I could have bought back then. I woulda, coulda, shoulda. Look, it's never a good time, ever. It wasn't a good time back then, and it's never going to be the absolute perfect time. But one thing you're going to learn is the older you get, you're going to realize that if you don't take a chance in life, you will never know what it was to be your best decision. Okay? The truth is, here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, we have seen many retirees who are moving for a better lifestyle, lower taxes, warm weather, lower cost of living. But the common issue that we see When someone is selling, they've sold their home in another state or moving to another place. With low housing inventory, it can be very difficult to find that perfect home that meets all the buyer criteria, including the price, and for it to be ready to move in directly when they're ready to go. So no matter where you live in the nation, there is a housing crisis. And we're having the knowledge of where to go is really a big issue that prevents many from even putting their house on the market for sale. Now, as an example, in an area here like Myrtle, it's growing. Builders can't just keep up with the new buyer demand. Fortunately, we have knowledge of some non-MLS homes that are available for sale, and it sure has helped because of the lack of inventory everywhere else. But after years of building relationships and connections with every single builder, whether they're small or big, the real estate team here has been able to put deals together on the sidelines that never would have happened. Now, why am I telling you this? Okay, because when a buyer deal drops out, you may get knowledge of it, and that can be a super advantage. Knowing what builders provide an average or just below average or even way above average quality and build and price can be massively important, and this knowledge can save many prospective home buyers who would have not been able to afford a house any other way. So wherever you live, knowing this up front can save you a lot of anger, disappointments, and frustration. But it's not just about finding your next home. Consider all the stuff that happens in between on a house. There's many pitfalls that can be avoided. If the new house is not ready, an issue like finding a good short-term rental while that house is being built, or not planning, or getting scammed some way, or time constraints, or pets, or special requirements, or paperwork, or administrative issues, or unreliable moving companies, or even issues with the new house. That's a lot of stuff. And people move every few years in their life, right? But this is what we do every single day. And there's a ton of moving parts when it comes to buying a home, a condo, or land, or anything, right? But the doctor said, take 2 of these and call me in the morning, okay? Look, there's over 1,000 helpful videos here on this channel. And I would love to be your real estate resource of choice if you're moving here in Myrtle Beach area or anywhere beyond in the United States. I have a network of real estate experts that I can hook you up with. Just pick up the phone and give us a call. We're here to help. But this is where I turn this back to you, okay? If you agree or disagree with any of this or have thoughts on this, please comment below. If you like videos, you want to see more videos like this with helpful real estate information, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell for new videos when they come out. I just want to say I truly thank you for watching, and I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next episode. Take care, guys.